You know, I remember in the Bible, Christ was walking down the road, and there was this woman. She was a slut, I think, and the holy men who were sluts themselves were doing a stoner, something like that, right? And Christ said, they were like, pick up these stones, because they didn't have guns back in those days, I don't think. I'm glad they, can you ban rocks? Can you ban stones? I'm glad, I wonder if we carried stones today, would the people try to ban them?
Assault rocks.
Yeah, yeah. And so they had these stones, and they were about to stone this woman. And Christ just simply said to them, let you without sin cast the first stone, right? And everybody put the rocks down and looked silly and walked away, because they thought that they were a little better than the slut, right? But they were no different at all, zero different, because they all were born in sin. They all were sinning. And so the reason I was thinking about this, because, and this applies to workship, friendship, and everything, but this is about familyship. I was invited to talk to a family, and the family was judging one of the other family members. And she had a hard time with it, because they were judging her about it. And they would have these little family meetings and judge her. And so they asked me to come by, so I went by, and they had a little meeting, and the family member all proud. And so they were telling me about why they judged this family member. And so I said, oh, okay, I understand. Let's do this. Let's go around the room, and I want all of you to tell your personal business. What is it that you got going on, have done, and is doing? And not one could say a word. And it reminded me of the stone story, because I wasn't thinking about the stone story before that. And I noticed that, and this is, we expect this out in the world from friends and co-workers and other people, right? But it's not as expected by family members. It's like what the young lady was saying about her niece. You expect family members to be with you and working out and things are fine, right? But family members cast stones too. They may be your blood family, but they're not your spiritual family. I literally said to them, okay, y'all may be right about her, but let me hear about your stuff. And not one of them had mentioned their stuff, and they wouldn't mention it, and the meeting was over. It was just over, because nobody had nothing to say, because they knew they had stuff too. And so they could not say a word. Isn't that like amazing? And that's what I'm telling you, that lower level talking, I know what you mean, you know, you with your friends, like, no, I don't accept that, blah, 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 you're still a friend. But there's a higher level too, and you will grow to it. Don't worry about it. Your mind is being renewed, and you're going to have a clear mind. And without preparing for it or anything, you're going to know how to respond to it with perfect love to be helpful. And it doesn't mean you're accepting it as a right. You're neither accepting it or not accepting it. You just don't have anything. That's that person. It has nothing to do with you, but you understand what's driving that person, what's driving them. And I want you to know they couldn't respond at all. And I was a little surprised, because I was expecting a big fight. You know, well, I did this, but mine's not as bad as theirs. And there's nothing, but they shut up, and the meeting was over. And I want you to know that the world is mean, meaning the people of the world, their hearts are evil until their hearts are born again of God. You're really dealing with evil hearts. You're possessed by demons. And if you pay attention, you're going to notice that people with evil hearts, they do bad things to feel good. They do bad. They'll gossip about you so that they can feel good. They do bad things to feel good, to one another, to other human beings, to one another. So next time somebody come to you with that kind of stuff, just ask them, okay, you told me about that. How about you? What you got going on there? They'll shut up. Because they feel good, even in families, blood family, they feel good by hurting others. That's why they do it, because they are miserable. They have no life. They're unhappy. And so they roam the earth to see who they can hurt to feel good. And as long as you are a divided person, because the real you is a one person, you are a spirit. You are a one spirit, and that spirit is the nature, the natural nature of God. The natural nature. But what got you divided, you live in your imagination. You live in your head, and so you believe it was right, you believe it was wrong, you believe it was right, and you believe it was wrong, so you're divided. You're divided. Anyone that believes thoughts is divided. You're divided. And that's why in that, even with the offense and defense, you should never, ever, ever put up any offense or defense. Never. Lay your weapon down. Never put up offense or defense, because you're defending the ego. You're defending the not you. So if somebody want to accuse you or say something bad about you, oh, okay. Don't argue with them. Let them think what they want. You live your life. You stay on that straight and narrow, and the Spirit of God will fight on your behalf. It'll be taken care of. But you should never, as a matter of fact, you should welcome the attacks so you can see where you are in the war. And if you're fighting this war without weapons, you're going to win the war. You will win this war. It's a spiritual war. It's not a physical war. It's a spiritual war. And you could be, like when the young lady was talking about the girl changed her identity and all that, if she didn't have an offense or defense, or wasn't divided, and the niece told her that, it wouldn't have been a big deal. It wouldn't have moved her at all. But because you emotional into thoughts, and I'm this and I'm that, you have an opinion of yourself, you put up a defense or an offense. But if you welcome these things to come so you can see where you are, and if you're affected by it, and just let it happen, as the young lady here was saying, just let it happen, okay, whatever. And if you're affected by it, be glad to see that you're affected by it, because that person or that situation brought up something that you didn't see, more than a little hell that left over, right, that you didn't see, and just quietly welcome it. Don't overreact to it. Now the devil going to get busy and say, oh my God, they just said this to you. Now what the other's going to think? But let those thoughts pass. Stop putting up an offense. Don't argue with the devil. Because human heart has not been changed, most hearts, right? And their hearts are wicked, and they're trying to hurt you, even in your own family member, your blood, flesh and blood member, family. They're wicked, and they want to hurt you so they can feel good. They're not trying to hurt you because they love you. They're not trying to gossip about you or do whatever they do because they love you. They're doing it because they want to hurt you to get a reaction so they can feel good. It's not love. Think about it. So as you're waking up, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. And you will become one. We're one. We're not divided. A divided person is a very unhappy person. They have no peace. Christ came that we might have peace, not happiness. And a divided person is happy one minute, upset the next minute, unhappy. Worried one minute, not worried. Worried. That's a divided person. We should have peace at all times. We don't have to be a part of the war. Isn't that amazing? But you gotta overcome the imagination. And then all these thoughts that you get are all evil thoughts. There's no peace in thoughts. The thoughts and the feelings are your enemy, not your friend. So I don't care how good and goosey and warm it feels, it's your enemy and not your friend. You should not be divided. You must be whole. Christ came, sent by his Father, that we should be whole, and it has been laid out. All we have to do is get on that path and just let it happen. We don't have to do anything but give up. As he was saying, give up. Give up believing thought. Give up fighting. Give up arguing. Give up worrying. Give up loneliness. Give up everything. Just give up. Be all in. And you don't know, oh, you should even give up trying to find God. You can't find him. Now, I used to think that you could find God. That's a dumb saying now to me. He's already with us, and he will reveal himself to us. All we need to do is see that we're wrong for being angry. We're on the side of the devil. And once you see that you're wrong for being angry, he'll wipe the anger away from you. It's a spirit. And that's what you're going through now as you're seeing these things about yourself. And you're letting go of this and letting go of that. And something happens. And rather than overreact, you let go of that. You welcome the world to attack you so you can see where you are. Christ was not moved by the world. When they attacked him, he didn't care. Like, what the? He didn't fight with the devil. He gave the devil no attention. But you fight with the devil. And it's just two devils fighting. Whether it's family or whatever. Never, ever, ever fight with the devil again. Let your enemy be your enemy. They got problems. They can't help it. Don't join in the war with them. That make sense? So you can't make this happen on your own, but when you let go, you heard the saying, let go and let God, right? When you let go, he will do it. We have God with us, we have Jesus, the Son, and we have the Holy Spirit. All inside the kingdom of heaven. It's there, but you gotta let go. Don't run away from your fears, as this young man was saying, run to the fears. The buffaloes run to the storm, not away from it. And you're running from the storm of fear and doubt and worry and jealousy and envy and strife and want to be a part of the group and want to be equal to someone else and don't want to be poor. And you're running away from the storm. Relax. Do the silent prayer and watch those thoughts and take the pain of the thought. That's the storm. Take the pain you're going through the storm, and you'll be free. And whatever else, anyone else think, wish them well. Don't argue with them. Don't try to prove it. Never try to prove it. You can't prove anything to the devil. All right?